There we go. Perfect. How are you doing?
Very good, very good. How are you?
All good, all good. All right. So let's get started. I know you're super busy. Why don't you kick us off first of all? Just give us like a brief introduction on what liquidity is.
Yes, and myself as well. Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
Ransu. I'm Ransu. I'm the CEO and the founder of Likvidi. Likvidi means liquid in Finnish language. So it was a good pick because we managed to get the .com, which is always hard on all the domains. And this is really something that we've been working on now a year and a half, 2 years. After, so my history, if you go a little bit back, token market back on the very first ICO era. So back then we did about 30 ICOs to 30 companies, including crypto.com, that was then called Monaco, and then storage and civic and stuff like that. So we raised over 300 million to those startups back then. And then came the crypto winter and we put that company aside. And then it was very silent and, for a while. And I realized then that, okay, what are the really good user cases for the blockchain? That was just before DeFi, and DeFi then started to come when I started to really think about it. And I was like, okay, sustainable finance is something that where you need to run sustainability data, for example, like green bonds, their green values or carbon credits information, and also same time financial markets information, that what were the trades and how, all these trades and information behind the trades, pricing and everything, and realize that is a really good sector for blockchain, is sustainable finance. And then we started to build, we first focused more on green bonds and green bonds on blockchain, and built a structure from Luxembourg to do that. But then we realized we were too early on that market. So that platform is there waiting to be launched then on a later stage. And now our focus has been since last year already, last summer has been solely on the carbon markets. So that's basically the background. And now here we are then launching this first.
Right. That's super interesting. So what led you to basically start was kind of that you did the ICO stuff, and then you were done with that. Crypto winter came. You checked, okay, what can I do to start my own project? And then you looked at the green type of market. Bonds didn't work out, so you went to the carbon credits market.
Exactly.
So can you tell us a bit more about this? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Could you tell us a bit more about the carbon credits? Like, what was the current problem in it that thought like, okay, I'm gonna have to tokenize them? Like, what made you do that?
So first, if we take one step back on the market, it is a carbon credit market. There's two markets in the world. There's one that is kind of emissions trading, and for example, until 4 years ago, Tesla. All the American car companies get emission rights, and Tesla getting them, but they are so green with the electric cars and solar panels and everything that they actually didn't need to use those emission credits, and they sold those on the market, and that's how first 10 years pretty much Tesla made profit. So it didn't make the profit on selling cars, it made a profit on selling regulated carbon credits, these emission rights. And now we are on a voluntary market. And voluntary market is that your company is not regulated because it's so polluting, like electricity companies and car manufacturers and tire manufacturers and steel manufacturers. They are regulated. There's about 12,000 of those companies in the world. Then this rest of the world, led by companies like Google, Stripe, Microsoft. These are huge companies, as you all know, and they all very conscious about climate change and very conscious about this, that hey, what can they do that their carbon footprint, like we all know that term, carbon footprint is as minimum as possible. And that they do, like yes, let's use renewable energy. So this is decarbonization, called decarbonization when you start to think on your everyday life, either as an individual or as a company, that what can I do to reduce my carbon footprint. but we still want all of us to live modern life. So therefore, then we're not here to be like go back to living in the forest and having 0 carbon footprint. We're gonna fly. We're gonna, we buy stuff. We have a, refrigerator. We have things, and that causes the footprint, which is on average person in Europe about 6 tons of carbon a year. And in America, it's almost 16, around 16. So Americans are very consuming people. So now first doing the best that you can to reduce your carbon footprint, electric cars, all that stuff. And then the rest, we have to then use carbon credits. And carbon credits is basically a finance system of us, the developed countries sending money to the lungs of the earth, sending it to Indonesia, the big rainforest there, sending it to Africa, and sending that money to Brazil and Amazons, in order for having a guarantee from them that they keep the forest or even add more forest, or stop cutting the forests. The forest is the biggest sector. That's what I'm now talking about. There's many other sectors, and this is a super important kind of a financial transaction, because otherwise those poor countries will just cut all the trees and make money from timber and other energy and things, and therefore we need to find.
So just one thing. So basically, we're buying these carbon credits. Say America is buying them and sending them to Indonesia, so they don't cut the trees, and so they make money from the carbon credits.
Exactly. So now Indonesia, and then there's an independent measuring companies who measure from the forest that, okay, now we save this forest. This is how much more carbon we can capture from the air, and this way that evens out then the pollution that you do there in New York as a global emissions. So there's a quite complicated world, and that has had a lot of problems as well.
Interesting, because I saw on your platform, on your marketplace, because you guys have a carbon marketplace, and what's the idea with that?
So exactly, so that marketplace is now really getting so we just before Christmas, we just wanted to test that, do kind of an art test with the NFTs that also then yield carbon. So kind of a different kind of NFTs that has an art image from animals from those rainforests, but then more importantly, they yield carbon credits from those forests. And I don't think that works, was that the art is not that important there. So we're going to adjust these test products for the further when we really go to market, and they're going to be just solely focusing on carbon credits, and especially focusing now what we're doing now is so-called pool tokens, portfolio tokens. So that when person buys tokenized carbon credits, or carbon tokens as we call them, we want in the future use the blockchain technology to do quite big portfolios of underlying different from around the world on different places and from different projects carbon credits. We bundle those as an underlying real world assets under these carbon tokens, and that's yeah.
So when you're looking to pool these things, say you look at one project in Indonesia, you look at one project in Malaysia, one project here, are you going to look at what you think is going to be the kind of most sacred things where you don't want them to pollute, and then that's going to be the stuff that makes the most return?
Exactly. So good question. So there we rely that they are called verifiers or registries. And actually 2 registries, the world is now so centralized with the carbon credits that 2 registries has like an 80-85% market share. They called Gold Standard and Vera. So we, of course, as a decentralized people, you and me, we wanna change that world as well. But the important part is now that we use these third-party verifiers, and then separately rating companies, and then our own algorithms to come up with a perfect mix of de-risking and high impact. of these carbon credits. So it's a combination of algorithmic kind of thing.
Right. So if I'm an investor, what's that going to look like for me? Do you think that's going to be like a hedge for inflation? Do you think I'm going to look at 15% returns? Like, can you break that side down for me, please?
Last year, the regulated market went up something like 14%, 2022, that ended just like now, a month and a half ago. So I don't have last year's exact numbers yet, but yes. So the idea here is that this is going to be also very much a DeFi product. So when there's like, let's say 20, 30 projects under one token, and these carbon assets don't fluctuate, they go up, and they are bet to go up a lot in the future now. But they are not that volatile as the many other assets are. So they will play a role on a DeFi. That these tokens, that liquid carbon credits that we are working on now, they will be definitely DeFi compatible, so that you can use those as a collateral on different platforms.
Interesting. But so one other thing I'm trying to get. So if I'm investing in this, am I also allowing for someone else to pollute?
Well, you cannot. Unfortunately, the world of that. This is, of course, this is the global big problem that we have. We have China and we have India, who are responsible for a huge part of the global pollution. And we don't have a carbon credits to go to take someone's scooter, petrol scooter, from them and give them an electric scooter instead. Of course, we know that some places like in China, it's Shanghai, where the petrol scooters are already illegal. They all have to be electric ones. But electric scooter by itself is not the net zero solution, because they can use then coal to supply you that electricity. So that's very complicated. That how do we, when we ourselves are starting to be net zero and taking care of our decarbonization and our footprint, how can we get the rest of the world to do the same?
Right. No, that's a good point. And then I want to shift a bit on the tokenization part. What made you think that was the best structure for this, like security tokens, tokenization?
Exactly. So there's a main one. For example, like until now the markets have been very much based on OTC trading, and you have to create an account with the company. You have to have a credit line from them, and it's not even open for normal people many times, these carbon sales platforms. And then the assets, if you get it from here, they are not really transferable to any other platform. So you're kind of stuck with that company that you buy the carbon credits, because they were not tokenized, and there's not really like a global settlement system for that. So, and then also the data that is with the carbon credits, that's fantastic for blockchain, because we can now put where it was captured, the carbon, like, okay, this and this forest in Indonesia, when that happened, and many other parameters. So we've been planning.
No, yes. So when you're able to capture that through the blockchain, will that be captured on your token as well?
Yes. So we putting all this metadata, so to say, inside of the tokens. That's the token information. And now the really cool thing for this year, just basically 1 month old new system, is that the World Bank, which is a huge institution, especially developed to be the bridge between developing countries and developed countries on moving money and helping them to become more prosperous. They now launched a month ago climate action data trust that is actually built on Chia blockchain. So World Bank, the biggest organization, is now have started a meta registry that then wants that all the other registries plug in the future, and everything then runs on a Chia's data layer. And even they are now even. Yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, and the Chia has made then open source that basically that registry system, so that the new developing countries who were on a track to have to spend like $1 million on getting this software going, they are now getting that as an open source version from World Bank, developed by GIA. So now they can build national registries. Like, okay, here's all our forests. Let's put them on a registry, and then starts the forest rescuing, and the development efforts that result carbon credits with a different kind of a third-party audits. So now then these inventories are plugged in then soon to World Bank's inventory. That's cool.
No, that's super cool. And then will you gain anything from that? Will they buy the data from you or anything like that?
I think that our job is then to just to offer that data there, so that data really becomes good and solid, and we make money then on the trading of them. Always of course the spreads there, and then bringing in a new structured products like this LCO2 that I just mentioned. This our token, carbon token that has many assets behind. So there's many opportunities there for business, but kind of like, data wants to be free here, and we need to set that free so that we can have a best possible understanding of the market and least frauds or any kind of cheating.
Yeah, definitely. And one other thing I'm kind of curious about is, so you talked about how profitable the carbon credit market has been, but now when we bring the tokenization into it, how do you think that's going to shift? Because now we're basically allowing for more people to come and trade, but does it bring other benefits than just more people?
Well, more people, because we have to remember now that trading is a sidekick here, that people trade carbon credits. The number one thing that what you do with the carbon credits is something that we actually on the crypto world we know really well. So you need to offset, and you buy now carbon credit. So you buy tons of carbon against your own carbon footprint, and then you burn them. So you literally burn on our platform. You come and you burn. Let's say that now your carbon footprint for last year was 10 tons. Then you buy 10 tons, 10 carbon credits, like let's say $25 each, $250, and then you burn them on our platform, and you get an NFT, like non-transferable NFT receipt for your offsetting. So many benefits here. Really nice offsetting on a blockchain, and then easy to buy, easy to offset. And then the offsetting is, of course, blockchain style, permanent. So you don't have the problem that someone would bring them back to market and sell to someone else. They gone.
Interesting. And so when you're looking at clients that's going to use your platform, are you thinking what's your target audience there?
We definitely gonna aim for below Googles of the world. Because there's like circle around the block on those companies. Everybody wants to sell them carbon credits, and they buy directly, like 5 million, 10, 20 million each time dollars. They buy directly those projects. But like we need to get everybody on board on offsetting so that it really becomes effective. And like in Europe, was that 99% of companies are SMEs. 50, 200 employees, something like that. And that's 23 million companies are SMEs just in Europe. And imagine how big that number is, for example, in America or in Asia. So this is definitely our sector. That's why we need to make it easy to access, and really like crypto world is now 200 countries have like exchanges or something like that, 150 countries. So we want to make carbon credits as accessible as crypto is, and even more so will be.
Right. So Google and those companies, they've been buying the carbon credits in bulks on these platforms. So why would they want to change and use your platform? What's the benefit for them?
Continue to do what they do now. Of course, they don't trade. They buy, and they buy even whole projects, 20 million, projects in Indonesia. They buy the whole thing and they offset. So they are not, so to say, playing in the market like what what we are and like a crypto market is. So they are not our clients, but we will of course follow them closely. And by the way, something to say about Google, they are so aware of this importance of this offsetting that they started already buying carbon offsets 2007 when they were just introduced. And they are now saying that their operations are offset, and they are now aiming that all the electricity that their servers around the world needs will be fully green, because that's also very hard to buy that on that quantity, renewable energy. That will be soon the case, and then they are going to go back in time with their vast amount of money, and they are planning to offset themselves back to 1996 when they were founded. So that they want to be really good corporate world citizens and offset their whole history.
No, that's super interesting. So going back to Likvidi, where do you see you guys going in the future now? What's like the future plans from now?
Exactly. So we're launching now this spring this product, and someone is asking there I see on the comments that when will that be on the IXS, and I say hopefully as soon as possible as well. That's a great product to be there for companies to offset as they are doing all kinds of businesses. So that's very interesting. But yes, so this spring we bring it to the market so that people can, before summer, can start offsetting on it. And then we are also bringing to market then soon after that, we are bringing like an AMM just to have that liquidity, because we have to have there will be a lot of carbon credits this year that require KYC. So this market will not be full-on cowboy market in that sense, that it's like very much like a STO market, that there has to be some compliance there, because otherwise we don't get access to these good carbon credits. So therefore this is a little bit different than in some places like a carbon market, but it is a crypto market, but still very much there.
Definitely. So basically future plans, more listings and those portfolios that you spoke about too, and then adding the KYC, because the rest of your time is already done, or do you need still to make some more adjustments on that?
It's a big job, because we also want to help our clients and our partners who have carbon credits to move to the tokenized blockchain-based carbon trading. So we will be offering for them also tools and APIs to tokenize their assets, even if they are not part of our LCO tokens. Because we will pick, there's probably 1,000 carbon assets in the world, and we will pick the best ones for our structured LCO2 carbon token. And then there's much more that people still want to buy, for example, for the marine, like a shipping industry and stuff like that. So we're definitely looking into creating more umbrella products, and then also to some partners that asked that could they have their own products basically just operated by us, and that will be definitely one way to do it.
Mm-hmm. And then, so does the whole kind of company that you're going to take the carbon credits from and put them on the blockchain, do you have to tokenize the whole thing, or can you just tokenize those carbon credits?
Well, we just tokenize the first we start with. We have to go kind of slowly here, of course. This change is so radical for the market that we don't want anyone in the market participants to freak out, and we would lose the asset, because access to assets. That happened already last year in a market that crypto became so popular on the carbon momentarily that it was kind of pushed back by the rest of the industry. So there's a lot to develop, a lot to learn, because United Nations has developed the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, and everybody needs to use those globally. And then of course the whole World Bank situation, where they then want to be the main registry, meta registry, so to say. So there's a lot of things to do with and EU regulations are changing. And then there's this regulated market that I mentioned with Teslas and those. So this is a massive jungle that might give a headache to some people, just because it's so, how the regulations came to crypto world, same thing.
Definitely. And then I see Derek here has a good question. So he's saying, what's the value of tokenized carbon credits for individuals/retail investors? They can get any price upside, I guess, but individuals will not be able to actually use them for offsets, right? Do you see any other advantages?
Yes. So this is this. So here, on an offsetting world, everybody is equal. You can offset yourself. Like my footprint was something like my footprint was pretty big last year for the families, and I offset that. Then your normal offsetting is like 6 carbon credits. So if you buy $25 each, that's not bad. That's what is that, $150 a year, and you basically are there on a net zero.
Then use them to offset your own footprint.
You can, on our platform, you can really go there. Individual can go there just like a company and go and you burn that, and you get the soul pound NFT in trade. So right. This has been the problem, that now with the old-fashioned carbon market, you don't have access to all these carbon credits. They are only for corporate purchases. And the reason has been that the system has been so clumsy. That's like some companies that I've worked with, they have said that our KYC process cost them $200. So they don't want to sell to anyone, $200 worth of carbon credits, because the KYC cost was that.
Yeah, this is really, really cool, because as you said, this has only been available for these big companies, and now with tokenization, you're able to let everyone offset their carbon footprints.
There has been some solutions of buying directly to projects and stuff, but they've been very risky and not that transparent. And I think that this is now you can do it much more certainty, that when you go and buy LCO2 tokens, you know that, okay, these tokens are the same that Volkswagen or same that Panasonic has been using, and you can hear that from us checking that out on the registries, that yes, these are actual credits that the big companies use. You are not being sold now by some hilly-billy carbon credits just because you are a retailer.
Right, exactly. And then, do you have your own token?
Yes, so we are then launching on a site now that we have a Likk Token, LIKK, that is launching. That's a utility token that then you can earn those AMM fees. So you can be like you earn. It's a little bit different utility token than normally, because now when you stake it, you just don't earn Likk Token, which is a utility token, but we also will put these LCO2s. We will give people staking rewards in the form of the carbon credits, and that's like it makes it more, of course, environmental, and you have something else than just normal earning the same token. You have that to look forward, and basically by staking Likk Token, you can then earn LCO2s enough to offset yourself. So we're putting that out. We are almost done with the private sale. We have just 300,000 left on the private sale. The lead investors are DAOmaker, if you know that launch platform, and then Shima Capital. That's pretty famous. And then we also have a Gate.io and things like that. So we're now closing that private sale, and then we are doing as soon as the markets now get better, we are thinking April, May will be the token launch. And that's utility token that then supports these carbon tokens.
Well, we'll look forward to that. I think we're good, 30 minutes, and now you can go back to what you were doing.
Yeah, I have a busy day today, but I want to say a couple of funny things here to finish. One is that there was an interview. Anderson Cooper interviewed Bill Gates and said, "Hey, do you offset you and your family with the voluntary carbon credits?" And he said, "Yes, $5 million a year." That's when you fly private jets all the time. Amount is a little bit bigger. And then the other thing that you should guys think about, because we see now that in a few years, this carbon market will fully move to blockchain, and together with the regulated market will reach, I would say in 10 years now, reach a 1 trillion annual. So I believe that after crypto markets, carbon markets will be the second biggest market on a blockchain. And that's also great. That's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. All right, thank you so much for coming in. I think we can stop here. I'm looking forward to seeing all the progress that you guys will be doing and hopefully be able to list some of these tokens.
Absolutely. I look forward to that as well.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks. Have a nice day, everybody.
You too. Bye-bye.